Travel. What is travel? What you just thought of when I asked that question was a lovely place abroad or somewhere in the country you're living in where you take a nice relaxing holiday or sightsee, for example. Some people may see travel as for work or for other things. In this section, I will be speaking about facts of UK residents abroad and speak about my own experience of my trip to the island of Ibiza in Spain. It is shown that a substantial portion of the UK residents go abroad each year. An annual survey conducted among British consumers looked at trips made between September 2021 and August 2022. 45% of respondents made a holiday abroad. As you can see in the background, there is the difference in tourists, which shows Europe is by far the most popular destination for holidays. And this next image shows the tourists from each country, which shows most of them are UK residents. Often, the main attractions that UK residents go to is either Greece or Spain, and in the following statistics prove this. For example, UK residents visited Spain the most in 2023, accounting for 21% of all visits abroad. This was followed by France with 11%, Italy with 6%, and Greece with 5%. Also, in 2023, almost 4.8 million UK residents were registered at Greek entry points, which shows how many Brits go abroad to these places every year. Often, these Greek and Spanish islands are locations for people aged 18 and over, with places such as Ibiza, Kos, and Zante, as they are all well known to be party islands where people go for nightlife. Although that is in season, which is around June to August time, and it is the hottest in these countries during these times of the year. However, when it is out of season and dropping in temperature, it tends to be aimed more at families with younger children rather than young adults. In my own experience of holidays abroad, I'll talk about my trip to the island of Ibiza, which I went on with my family. We had gone out of season in October. This is when families often go on holidays to these islands. My experience of this in October, which you can see in the background, was noticeably quiet as it was out of season, which was a shame for me as I was hoping for the famous Ibiza nightlife. Ibiza did not have much going on and seemed very dull, which is because their main source of income during season is no longer there, as they were gathering around €1,501 per person for every tourist. So why would they continue all these excursions? Excursions/trips were all unavailable when it was out of season, as the residents had realised they were not going to be getting such a big profit as they would have in season. My own recommendation for going to these places out of season is not to go, unless you plan to go either sightseeing or have a family with a younger child. I will link the rest of this holiday within the next section of this documentary. For this section, I will be speaking at how much places make due to tourism. As I was speaking about my trip to Ibiza, I shall speak about this place as well, and how tourism affects this place. Did you know that Europe had the most tourist visits between 1980 and 2019 by a far margin, as you can see on this chart on the screen? Another interesting fact is that 11% of Spain's total GDP was from the tourism sector, said by Statista website, which had the highest percentage across Europe, as shown by the graph, and had beaten other countries by a whole 2%. As told by CaixaBank, they predicted that the percentage would increase to a whopping 13% before the end of 2024, which was a huge increase as there are more tourists each year. As stated by Olive Press, it was 12.8% GDP, which meant their prediction was remarkably close to the actual amount. The total amount was €187 billion that went into the economy solely on tourism. This has shown how much of an enormous impact tourism has had within Europe and different countries. There are places that thrive solely off tourism, like Bangladesh, which provides 994 jobs for every 100 tourists. In Ibiza specifically, statistics show that this is also the reason as to why the island seems quite dull when out of season, as they will not be earning as much money, and they would be preparing for the next season of tourists. It also gives many residents jobs, as it has employed over 10,000 people, which is about the seating capacity of Kingston Park Stadium at Newcastle. This is out of the population of 152,000, which means over 15% of the population is employed. And another crazy fact about Ibiza, 84% of Ibiza's GDP is because of tourism. Yes, 84%. This concludes how vital tourism, especially for lone islands outside of the main country. As I was saying about what is travel earlier, there are sometimes non-ideal scenarios where someone goes missing or worse. Recently, there had been a huge case of a missing person called Jay Slater, which created an uproar in social media following his disappearance. On the morning of the 17th of June, 19-year-old Jay Slater from Lancashire had disappeared. At the time, he was abroad with his friends to the island of Tenerife in Spain. The night before his disappearance, he had been to a music festival which he had attended with two of his friends. In the background, you can see the map of the island and where he was staying and where the music festival had taken place. He had missed a bus back to where he was staying at the time, so he tried to take a 10-hour walk back, in which he disappeared then. After his disappearance, there were extensive searches from the Guardia Civil and volunteers, where they searched for 2 weeks and came back empty-handed. On the 30th of June, they discontinued the search as no body was found, but they kept the case open. As a matter of fact, the court was still searching with secrecy due to the high interest in this case, which blew up on social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, which made everyone aware of the case and the dangers. After nearly a month, on the 15th of July, the police in Spain had reported that they had found a body in an area of interest. It was later discovered that it was Jay Slater's body. He had died from traumatic head injuries, which is consistent with a fall from a height. This story outlines the dangers of travelling abroad and drinking as a young adult. This could have happened to anyone, and Jay Slater was the unlucky victim this time around, although there have been hundreds of cases like this without much popularity. Thank you for watching.